Hey everyone.
Hey bag makers, I'm Sarah Lawson from Sew Sweetness. This is my husband Danny, and you're watching Sewcial Sunday, my weekly sewing chat. Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Welcome to Sewcial Sunday. I see Lori's watching from Southern California. Danny's going through the comments right now. Diana from Connecticut. Thank you for joining us. Danny and I are going to be chatting and talking about a few things. I have a great giveaway at the end of the show, and also I'll be answering some questions live. So if you have a question for me, it can be a sewing related question about a notion or a tool, or a bag making related question. You can type your question anytime in the comments wherever you're watching this video, either on Facebook or YouTube. Danny will be collecting questions throughout the show, and I'll be answering as many as I can near the end of the show. So our kids are starting school in a little bit over 2 weeks. Violet is very excited. We decided for the school year to do the e-learning, so at least until the end of the year they'll be doing their learning via their computers at home. I think the school said about 5 hours a day of actual work, and they're starting their new school, so they don't know any of the kids at the school, the teachers, so this will be really interesting. And Violet is certainly very excited because the kids each got to choose a language. They both went with Spanish, and Violet did some Rosetta Stone over the summer, Spanish, and she's very excited. They had a hard time deciding between Spanish and German, but in the end they chose Spanish. So Danny actually came out of the shower earlier today, and Danny likes to play a lot of tricks. He had his towel wrapped around his face, and he said, "Oh, I can't go on the show tonight." And I really didn't believe him for a second because, like I said, he's always playing tricks. Do you want to tell the rest of the story?
I wasn't planning on talking about this.
Well, you kind of have to.
I missed my beard.
It's obvious.
I don't like it. I was shaving. I messed up, so I couldn't leave it, so I had to shave it all off. So I'm gonna have to stay like the rest of the show like this, Sarah. Now since you,
I'm sure you could have
the
just.
elephant's in the room.
I didn't
No,
see
you couldn't
your.
have.
I didn't see your mistake, but I'm sure you could have just left it and.
No.
No, it was that bad.
Yep.
Okay, well you have to take.
I went to the go-to. No, since you mentioned it.
Well, I think they can all see. They can
See me
clearly see you
smiling.
on the video. Oh, that's so funny.
That's the comments gonna stay on the rest of the show.
No.
Gail, you win.
He asked me if he could wear the towel across his face.
No,
like
I didn't. I said, Violet, you want to be on the show instead. I wouldn't ask to put a towel on my
You look
face.
like a bank robber. Is it okay if I talk about the hawks now? Are you ready to post the
Whatever you like.
videos? So we've had a hawk nest in our yard for the last couple of months. The babies are getting really big. There's 4 babies. I took some pictures a few weeks ago. Here's one of the babies. As you can see, they look
Doesn't look like a
almost full
baby,
grown.
but
He's stretching in this picture. He looks so cute. And then this is from this morning. 2 of them were on our pergola. I think they had just eaten because they were cleaning their feathers and all that. And it seems like, because I watched them a lot with their binoculars. Oh, here's a video I took. We had a near mishap the other day. Can I still talk?
I'm not sure if there's sound or not.
Okay, I'll wait then.
Sucks that so. We can talk through it. Maybe they can hear you. If they do. I miss my beard, everyone. Get that ant, little guy.
Yeah, they were chasing ants. Really cute. And then coming up is the part that was concerning me the other day. You'll see he walks over to his brother. Okay, so as you saw the last part of the video, oh, they said they can hear us.
Yeah.
Okay. So the last part of the video, as you could see, he was kind of pulling at his brother's wing, trying to get him up. That one hawk was down on the ground for at least a couple of hours that I saw. I actually thought he had gotten into an accident. I started calling some wildlife rescues. Danny suggested, rather than panicking after the 2 hours.
Sarah's always so quick to rush to like 1 to 3 stress, anxiety, and she'll just go right to 9. And I'm like, relax, go out there and see if it'll fly away when you walk by it. And it just got up and flew away.
I walked slowly and quietly toward the hawk. When I got closer, he flew up on our fence. He was perching with both feet, so the feet looked fine. And then after 10 minutes of being on the fence, he flew away into the trees near where the nest was. So I think it's a red-tailed hawk. That's what, at least some friends that saw our pictures suggested that's what it was. So I see them every morning, especially now that the babies are really active and flying around. About 7 o'clock in the morning is when they start hunting and cleaning their feathers. Most of the day I don't really see them. Sometimes I see them on the nest, but I usually don't see all 4 on the nest anymore just because they're big enough to be doing other things. But I do see them around, especially it seems like they stick around in groups of 2. So hopefully the parents build or at least keep up with the nest every year, because it would be really cool to have the babies back every year. So hope you enjoyed the pictures and the video. I was debating whether to share, I've been working on 4 brand new patterns. I was debating whether to share sneak peeks. Deanne says, yes, it is a red tail. Thank you, Deanne. I was debating whether to share sneak peeks, but we finally got, we were waiting on a lens for one of our cameras that we would shoot our step photos with.
And that's actually how Sarah is getting these photos. I was doing research on what lens to get for setting the studio because I haven't set up to film videos yet, and the one we currently had wasn't working. So I did a lot of research trying to find the correct lens, and I found this one that's great for telephotography, which is the one that she shot those from. And I was like, man, this would be pretty cool. And then she talked about it. I'm like, I think, yeah, you would enjoy it because she loves taking the binoculars. We'll be swimming in the pool. She'll be spending half the time with the binoculars on the side just looking for the wildlife. Yeah. But no, I think she's going to enjoy it a lot.
I don't know how that, oh yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how that ties into the sharing sneak peeks in the new pattern, but I feel like I can start slowly sharing the sneak peeks now that we can start filming the videos, or at least we're getting closer to doing that. So here's one of the projects. They're all bags except for one project, which is a pouch in 3 different sizes. So this is the bellow pouch. This is the large size, so it has 2 smaller sizes, medium and small. I used a panel for this particular pouch. So I've got Ariel. It was fabric that I bought from, I think the company was called Twisted Needles. It was tattoo princesses, so Disney princesses with like tattoos. So this is Jasmine from Aladdin on the other side. Let's see, I don't know what else to say about this. It was a really quick project, and I really like the large size the best. I'm not sure what I thought maybe I'd put my cross stitch supplies inside this pouch, but I'm still not sure, and I'm not sure what else to say about this. Yeah, it's got a handle. I was thinking, the pattern's not finalized yet. I was thinking of adding a tab on the opposite end or a second handle. I'm not sure. Maybe just the one handle and then a little like pull tab on the second side, so when you unzip it, you have something to grab onto on the opposite side. But I haven't decided yet. I guess I've been focusing on the other 3 patterns, and so I haven't revisited that one yet. But I don't have a release date. We were thinking that at least for the time being, we'd be releasing the patterns and videos one at a time. So not our usual 4-pack, but just one at a time. So I'm not sure when that one's coming out. I did want to film the Rockstar bag video first. Hopefully we can get that done this week. I haven't cut the fabric out for it yet, but I did choose it. It's laying on my desk. Hope says, what is the size for the small? I don't have the small with me, but the small's rather small. It's about this big. So the small does still fit pens inside, because I wanted to make sure, even though it was a small pouch, you could still put pens inside. So the small does fit pens, but like I said, it's kind of, if you've
What size is that one?
This is the large. If you've made any of the dumpling pouches, it's probably maybe about the size of the biggest one, the size small of that new pattern. So it's called the bellow pouch. I don't have a release date for it yet, but it'll be a new pattern and video, and we'll keep you updated on the show and on social media. Wendy says, wants to know if they're embroidered. No, they're just, this is just what the fabric looks like. It wasn't embroidered, but it would be a really cool idea to have fabric and add some embroidery, maybe a child's name on it, something like that. And there's the other side too. All right, Danny's favorite part of second favorite part of the Sunday show when he's on the show. We'd like to invite all the bag makers to stand proud. Let us know that you're part of the So Sweetness squad. We really appreciate you being part of our community. Danny is working in collaboration with one of our viewers on getting some stickers made. I think I saw Renee was asking about that on the last show. So we do have stickers in the works. Hopefully we can come up with some fun designs. And we were looking for some sturdy stickers, but I think you were talking about...
I spoke with her, yeah, she said, she's a sewist. She knows all about this. She works for a big company. She's a manager. And she said, if you're going to get a sticker, you want to get a sticker. It's got an adhesive. So if you apply it to the sewing machine, you can remove it without leaving...
residue?
Yeah, residue.
Or paper or
whatever.
Anything
so
like
it comes
that.
off cleanly. So it's a more higher quality. And she had some other fun ideas for stickers and how to launch them and use them. And yeah, I'm we'll leave it at that for now.
Okay. We'll update you again as soon as we get closer to having the stickers ready. Really excited about that. All right, we'll get over to your pick.
All right, my pick of the week is actually a lady who we met when we used to do this Friday sew-ins. What were they called?
First Friday sew-ins.
First Friday sew-ins. Yep. Her name was Jessica Schaus, and she's made a ton of Minikin Season 1, I believe. That's grab and go. Mm-hmm. I saw Trifle Tumbler, possibly Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
really
good.
testing you on these.
But I love the colors. They were just so bright. Cotton Candy.
Yep, good one.
And I saw those. I'm like, wow, everyone loves Tulip Pink, and I do like most of Tulip Pink stuff too. But those were just so bright, and the pictures were amazing, and I think she does such an amazing job. And Jessica, 2 thumbs up.
Great job, Jessica. I should mention some of the items that Jessica used in some of the projects she received from her Quilty Box subscription. Tulip Pink was the designer for the July box, and so for example, that sewing machine patch that was in her Quilty Box, the Tabby Road fabric with the white background, that was exclusive fabric to the box. So I'm actually kicking myself that I didn't sign up for the July box. I don't know why I didn't. It was just a temporary lapse of judgment. But the projects all look really great, and yeah, great job, Jessica. I don't know why I'm looking at you like what are we talking about next? All right, before we get over to some questions, I wanted to announce the winner of last week's giveaway, and that winner is Lottie. I think this is a short for Florida, but Lottie FLA. So congratulations to Lottie. Lottie won last week's prize, which was a $40 gift certificate to SewSweetness.com. Congratulations to you. We have another giveaway at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. And now I'm going to kick it off to Danny for posting some questions for me on the screen, and I'll answer as many as I can live. Valerie says, what do you use for stabilizer? So my top 3 that I use the most often, well, I should say top 2, for pretty much every lining, I use Pellon Shape Flex, which is also known as SF101. It's a fusible medium weight interfacing. For exterior fabric, I usually like to use foam interfacing, so there's several different brands. I personally use By Annie's Soft and Stable, which is a sew-in foam, but there's other foams. Pellon makes Flex Foam, which is sew-in and also fusible, depending on what option you choose. Bosel also makes foam interfacings, and theirs is called Interform, and again, they have sew-in versions as well as fusible. I also once in a while use either Pellon Peltex, which is an ultra firm interfacing, or Decoville Heavy, and I like using that particular type of interfacing if I want a stiff bottom on my bag. Perhaps it's a large bag and I don't want the bottom to bow out under the weight of the items I've put into it, or I just want the bottom to be nice and firm. So those are the 3 that I generally use the most often, or almost all the time.
I've had a few comments about what is a quilty box, how do you get a quilty box?
Oh, okay. Danny said there were some questions about Quilty Box. It's a monthly subscription. They have several different versions. They also have one for English paper piecing. They have a regular one. And each month, lately they've been doing designer boxes. So Tula Pink's box was July. The items in the box were either Tula Pink fabric or items relevant to Tula Pink. And every month is a surprise. I think the August box is Giuseppe Juicy Juice. He's a designer for Andover Fabrics, and so every month there'll be different patterns, fabric, notions, but they're a surprise. I believe the website is quiltybox.com, and you can find more information there. I've gotten a couple of quilty boxes in the past, and they were really great and fun, and I did get one of the English paper pieced versions of Quilty Box, so you can find more information on their website. I'm not sure if they have a lot or any of the July Tula Pink boxes left, but I guess it's worth a try. And again, quiltybox.com. Linda says, Sarah, you listed a while back a mystery quilt block of the month. Did you ever do that one? And can you show us your progress if you did? I have been working on Summer Sampler 2020. We did consider doing over the summer a free video quilt along. I ended up deciding I was just packing too many things in, and I decided at the end of the day that I would rather work on new patterns rather than doing a quilt along. While the quilt along sounded a lot of fun, when we were setting up our studio and moving and trying to get everything together, it just felt like one too many things. And so I've got my blocks here. I've gotten, I think, 7 blocks finished so far, so I guess I'll hold them up really quick. I decided to go with a blue, green, and yellow color scheme. So the website is, or the block of the month is called Summer Sampler 2020. And if you just Google that, even though they're past the halfway point, you can sign up at any time and you can get all of the blocks up until now. And then you'll receive, going forward, all the future blocks. So I had a lot of fun. I'm actually a week behind. Normally I like to work on the current week's block on Monday morning when I wake up, and this Monday I think I was so busy with the new patterns I didn't get to it. Donna says, what do you use to store your bolts of interfacing, foam, etc.? I actually just leave the interfacing on the bolts since I buy them by the bolt. I have a cabinet under this table right here, and I just have the bolts in there. The foam comes on a big roll, so the roll is taller than I am. It's actually right behind me. I just keep it leaned up against the wall. If I am purchasing interfacing that's not on a bolt, I just try to keep it folded similar to if it had been still on the bolt, just to keep it nice. I prefer to do that rather than folding it up. But you know, it's certainly okay to keep the interfacing folded up. I think I'm just trying to conserve a little space, and I always try to keep, even though I'm by this point very familiar with my interfacings, I always try to keep the tissue paper that comes rolled on the interfacing with the interfacing, just so I can keep everything clear on which one is which, especially interfacings that look very similar, like fusible fleece and thermal lamb to me look very similar, so I try to keep that tissue paper with the interfacing. Barbara says, I miss when you show new fabric collections. Will you do it in the future? So every other Sunday I show fabrics that I've added to my stash, so that will be on next Sunday's show. We kind of intersperse those shows with all the Notion reviews, book reviews, fabrics, and so on with the shows that Danny's on. So that'll be next Sunday. I think last week I showed a new Ruby Star fabric that I picked up. I'm not sure yet. I have a stack of fabrics that I'm waiting to show on the show. Actually, no, last week was Tula Pink fabrics that I showed. But anyway, next Sunday I'll be showing some brand new fabrics or fabrics that are new to me. Susan says, any chance of getting templates for the leather hobo bag? Oh, actually, I don't think I've been asked about that one before. I'll write that down. That should be pretty easy because I think it's just the 2 different pieces, the side tab and the body of the bag. So definitely I'll write that on my list. Because you've proven that the acrylic templates are very popular. We sell those like hotcakes. Lori wants to know, does anyone use a Cricut or other similar cutting machine for their fabric cork? Thinking of doing it since I have the machine but don't use it much. So I do have the Cricut Maker. I've used it some. It's better for smaller projects just because of the mat. With the Maker is 12 inches by 24 inches, and since you need to cut the pieces as a whole rather than on the fold, obviously it works better with the smaller projects like pouches, like the Minikins. Michelle Graham is actually working on SVGs that we haven't released so far. I'll let you know on social media as soon as those are ready. She had to learn Adobe Illustrator to get those going for us, but very exciting, and thank you to Michelle for getting those done because I know a lot of people were waiting on some more SVGs. Maria says, what is the best thread weight for bags? I personally use Aurifil 40 weight thread. I do have a bunch of 50 weight thread in my stash also that I will substitute in if I'm looking for a certain color. Polyester thread is also completely fine, but I do use Aurifil, which is 100% cotton. Ooh, lots of questions in your queue today. Chris says, do you use 100% cotton on all of your bags? I do generally use quilting cotton, which is, yes, generally 100% cotton. Once in a while, I'll use a rayon fabric with some extra interfacing, some extra SF101 to take out the drape. I have used a knit fabric for a bag before. Again, I added some Pellon Shape Flex to it before adding it to the foam to take out the stretch, but 99% of the time I am using quilting cotton thrown in sometimes with cork for straps or handles, or vinyl or faux leather. Cindy says, I am new at this. I'm on my third bag just to keep learning. I would like to know if all your patterns have video that is step-by-step like the craft bag video. We have been doing videos for 3 years, so we've had some time to get to the backlog of some of my patterns that are older than 3 years. I think we might have a couple of handfuls of patterns of mine that we haven't yet shot videos for, but I think most of them by this point, maybe 80% of my patterns do have videos. Some of them are free patterns and videos, and some are paid, and the video is optional, and you can add that in if you like, or just purchase the pattern if you wish. Brandy says, Sarah, have you thought about virtual presentations for guilds? And Danny, have you and William watched Sword Art Online? It's one of my husband's favorite anime. Have you?
We have not. We're watching Hunter x Hunter currently, and maybe that'd be a great next one because we're talking about what we're going to watch next, and we'll maybe give that one a shot.
Have you heard of Sword Art?
Yes, Online? I have. I believe it's like you're playing a video game in life, and then you transform into the game, and you're playing the video game in real life.
Okay, but it's an anime cartoon?
It's an anime.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I have not thought about... Since quarantine started, I have been asked by a couple of guilds to give presentations for... I think I declined mostly just because, well, we were getting our studio set up, and I was anxious to work on some new patterns and videos. So I think that's pretty much the main reason. I'm really focused on... I know people are really excited about new projects to work on. So I've been trying my best to focus on those new patterns and videos. Karen says, I would love to see you design a bike trunk bag. I do have that on my list because at least in the past year, a few people have requested that. I keep a spreadsheet of viewers' suggestions in Google Sheets, and my list is getting a little bit longer, but I'm trying to get to some of the things that people have been asking for. And I think one of the 4 new patterns that I'm working on is probably the number one project type that people have been requesting. Not that it's included in the 4 that I'm working on, but also higher up on my list is bags for wheelchairs. I was thinking of 2 different designs. I've had a lot of requests for bags that can go nicely on wheelchair handles or on the back of a wheelchair, or walker. So that's on my list as well as the bike bag. Terry says, Danny, what is your favorite hobby?
I enjoy playing video games, and that's probably a big hobby. William and I have become best of friends playing video games. We play probably 6 to 12 hours a day, and no. But I would say video games is my hobby. I love technology, so I like to research it and find some gadgets and cool stuff to play with, but I would say video gaming is my hobby currently.
Yeah, you're really good at figuring out things you don't know. Doing research and figuring
I thought I know it all. I'm pretty sure you said Danny You already know it all. Oh, maybe that was more condescending.
Well, you do know most things through research, but
Yep.
yes.
I love to research everything.
Let's see. Pine Slayer D says, do you prefer a cordless iron or a corded iron? I think it depends. I do use both in the studio. I have my computers in the corner of the room and my ironing board's right next to it. So currently I do have an iron actually plugged into the outlet. I use the Singer Expert Finish iron with the cord. I do have a Panasonic cordless iron that I showed earlier in the year. The Panasonic iron for me is personally good if this table we're sitting at right now is an island, and the cordless iron works really well on the island because I can walk anywhere around the table and use that iron, and I'm kind of limited with the one that needs to plug into the wall. Rivets, what size do you use? Most of the time I use 8mm rivets with a 6mm post length. I do have some that are a little bit bigger at 9mm, but for most of my projects, those 8mm rivets work well, even through extra layers of straps or cork handles, things like that. Jolyn says, is there any way to make the Rockstar bag without the binding? Yes, you can. I guess I haven't given any thought yet for the video. In the pattern instructions, I do use binding for that particular bag, as well as the Cumberland backpack, which I did give some options in the Cumberland backpack, but I felt like the binding kind of provided a skeleton and made the bag more structured. Obviously the foam interfacing gives the bag structure, but I feel like having that extra, I call it skeleton, in there with the binding for the Rockstar bag makes it really keep its shape like super well. So it is possible to sew it without the binding. I'll give it a think if I can fit two different options into the video, if it works with the process of sewing it together. Catherine says, what stitch length do you use when top stitching vinyl or faux leather? On my sewing machine, my regular stitch length that I use for sewing bags or even piece and quilt blocks is 2.5mm. For sewing straps or handles, I usually like to lengthen to 3mm, but this might slightly depend on your machine. But I do generally use 3mm for top stitching. Mary says, do you sneak any fabric in that Danny doesn't see? That is half the fun. I don't know, do I?
Not fabric, mostly clothes.
It's so funny because I put this, it's actually a dress, but I guess I'm wearing it as a top because I've got shorts on, but I walked into the kitchen, Danny was like, oh, his favorite phrase, oh, is that a new shirt? And I looked down and I was like, no, I made this like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And then he was like, oh, yeah.
Well, I know she got a new order of stuff because I saw her popping tags on some shorts. So I knew she'd got some new clothes. So I assumed this was part of that bundle.
This top/dress that I'm wearing is designed by Christine Haynes. It was a sewing pattern. I think it was the Emery dress. And it has the option for these nice ruffles on the front. And I made this using a Tula Pink, I think this was a cotton lawn. Yeah, it feels nice. It's nice for summer. Michelle says, can you tell how to determine the thread weight on a spool? So most of the spools will have it on the Orifil. Let me see if I can I'm going to grab a spool. Okay, so this will depend on the thread manufacturer because they're all different. On the Orifil thread, it says Orifil 50 on the bottom, and it also says the color number, 100% cotton. I'm not sure if this is how many yards of thread is on there, but a lot of them will have some sort of paper on it with relevant numbers, like especially the color number. Some of them will have it in a different location, like perhaps on this skinny part over here, but usually there's some sort of white sticker on the thread. Question says, are you still doing your newsletter? That's actually a great question. Bronwyn, who handles social media for us, is going to be working on the newsletter. Actually, that's kind of something brand new that we're trying out, and so we're hoping to get one out next weekend. Clearly, I have not been doing a good job with that since I checked and I haven't sent one since March when the pandemic started. So apparently I need some help in that department. Robert says, any tips for reducing the wrinkling or creasing when using foam? I'm guessing you're using fusible foam. I do use sew-in foam to reduce those creases or wrinkles. I find that sometimes with fusible foam, especially if you're turning the bag right side out through an opening in the lining and getting everything really crunched up, sometimes when the bag is finished and turned right side out, parts of the fabric have come unattached from the fusible foam, and the iron doesn't necessarily reattach them. So that's why I like to use sew-in foam. You can, however, do a little test with any interfacing combinations that you're thinking about before you get to work on your actual project. And actually had someone email me about this last week. So what I would recommend is cutting a little square of your fabric, so maybe a 5-inch by 5-inch square, cutting whatever interfacing that you're thinking about using. The email that I got last week, she was wondering, she wanted to use fusible foam and Decor Bond, and she wanted to know if the fusible foam should go against her fabric, fusible fleece should go against her fabric, or the Decor Bond, which order should it go? And I suggested doing this test. So you would fuse whatever fabric that you're thinking about to the wrong side of your fabric. My suggestion is to crumple it up to simulate the process of turning a bag right side out through an opening in the lining. So crunch it up as best you can, then try to iron it flat and see what it looks like. So if you have trouble getting those wrinkles and creases out in whatever interfacing you're using for this test, you might want to think of either another combination, or before, say, using the fusible foam, applying some Pellon Shape Flex to the wrong side of your fabric, and then the fusible foam to reduce those wrinkles, or using a different combination. But that's a great test that you can do at home just to check with your fabric and interfacing combination before you start on the project, because as we know, bags take several hours to complete, let alone if you add the cutting and fusing time in there, which usually takes me 2 to 3 hours. So you want to make sure you're fully happy with your finished results. Tammy says, question, could you ask your template maker to make the holes for hanging on pegs a little bit bigger? I don't know. I guess
I seen a couple people actually mention that.
Oh, really? Okay. I'll mention it. I am planning on ordering some more templates tomorrow morning, so I'll see about that. I'm guessing your pegs are just a little too thick for the holes. Is that what they're saying in the comments?
Just about pegs.
Bigger holes?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Maybe 2 on that.
Okay. I'll write that down, and I will see if we can make that happen. Anne says, on the Darling poppy print bag behind Danny, do you sell the fabric? That's actually Marimekko fabric. I purchased it on Etsy. If you just do a search on Etsy for Marimekko, it's spelled Marimekko. I think that's the correct spelling. You want to make sure you pay attention to the size of the print, because some of those poppies, it comes in different sizes, and some of them are really, really huge. So if you're looking for a similar fabric, just pay attention to how big the flowers are before you purchase. Barbara says, can you design a mid-sized bag with a divider? I'm trying to think if we have any. The Appaloosa bag is a bag I currently have out. That one does have a form of dividers, especially in the front of the bag. As far as dividers, I don't know if I have any more with dividers. However, if you are interested in a bag pattern that I currently have that doesn't have a divider, but you want to put a divider in there, I have a couple patterns on my YouTube channel for adding a divider to a bag. So you can just search my YouTube channel, probably just divider, and that video should come up in case you'd like to add it. However, I will add it to my list in case I can make it happen with a future pattern divider. Barbara says, is the diaper bag one of the new ones? Diaper bag. No, I didn't show any of the new patterns yet. I was considering one of the new patterns that I was working on, which I have not shown yet. I was considering making a bigger version of the bag, a handbag version and a diaper bag version. Sadly, the bigger version did not come out. It just structurally, I wasn't able to make it work, and it looked kind of frumpy, the bigger version. But the 4 new patterns, unfortunately, no diaper bags. But I do have the Aragon bag, which a lot of people use for diaper bags. And I think I have one behind me on this side. Yeah. Let me pull it off just in case you're not familiar with it.
Rebecca wants to know, are there bag making guilds?
Oh, that's a really great question. I don't think so. Here's the Aragon bag. It's got a lot of pockets for bottles, lots of pockets on the inside, outside, pockets all over. I personally have not used this as a diaper bag because my kids were not in diapers when I created this
Throw
pattern.
a bottle in here, water bottle on the other side.
But I do use it as a travel bag, or at least back when I was traveling. What was the?
And you know, it'd be really good for if you shave your beard off accidentally. You could wear like a chin warmer.
It's so funny, like with your chin covered, it almost looks like you still have facial hair.
I know, that's why
Sort of.
if I wear it around, these would be weird.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Wait.
Good thing we're not leaving the house. There's really nothing you have to worry about besides people seeing you on YouTube, but
A lot more than I would see outside, I'd probably
Yeah.
guess.
The question about the bag making guilds, that's a really great question. Not that I know of. Lots of course, quilt guilds. We do have our local state and country groups. However, I'm sure none of them are doing local meetups at this time. I heard that some were doing Zoom meetups, but so certainly not in person, at least for now. Kathy says, do you have a video on how to use your zipper pocket template? We do. If you search our YouTube channel, I think zipper pocket template, you can search by that and the video should come up. I'll show you how to use the template in that video. And Christine says, would love your input on wool mats, any preference? Fortunately, we're out of wool mats currently on our website. However, I love them. I think I have 4 of them. I have my favorite is a 17 inch by 17 inch wool mat that seems to fit nice on my sewing space. I do have a bigger one that's 17 by 24. I love them. I like that they kind of reflect heat back into the project. Really good for quilt blocks. In our old house, I use them on our desk because we had such a small space, and I know it sounds super crazy, but I was even ironing interfacing onto straps on that 17 by 24 inch wool mat. Renee says, as a husband myself, I know a lot about nothing. That's really funny.
That's a good comment.
Grab some water really quick. Carolyn said, I just started sewing again after many, many years. I happily discovered your website and channel. I'm so happy that you found us. You have so much information and patterns. Do you have any recommendation for a bag making beginner? So there's a couple patterns that are great for
Baker
beginners.
Street bag.
Yes, they're both free and they both have videos of the Baker Street bag. You'll learn how to install a zipper, make straps, sew through curves.
Oreo bag's another one. I'm probably not going to mention it, but
Yeah, I was not going to mention that. Well, the Oreo
work
bag
with
would be
darts.
okay. There's a few pouches that would be fun to make too. The persimmon pouch, the Windsor pouch, those are also free. And the Easy Leather Hobo bag, also free. You can substitute quilting cotton for that one if you'd like, and that one's fun to make also. Actually, I think I might make one of the hobo bags with quilting cotton coming up. Gail says, where do you use the cam snaps? I've used cam snaps before in the Oslo craft bag for the pockets on the sides with snaps. What other projects? Some of the Minikins projects have snaps. You can substitute any of my patterns that require pearl or metal snaps for cam snaps. I really like the cam snaps. If you're not familiar with them, they're basically snaps but plastic, commonly seen in, I know this because both of my kids were cloth diapered and we had these fun diapers with snaps on the side, which were cam looking snaps, but plastic snaps, they come in tons and tons of colors, and they're really nice, really easy to open and close too. Patty says, do you know the weight of Gutermann? It doesn't say. I think someone said on a recent show that the number for Gutermann was on the inside or down the side, but I don't remember. I don't have any Gutermann thread to check. Lori says, what is on the top of your spool of thread? Oh, this is I don't remember the exact name of it, but I use it to hold my bobbins. So I've got a bobbin over here. Can you hold my spool over here so they can see what I'm doing? Okay, so I've got my coordinating bobbin, and it just pinches together and it goes through, let's see if I could hold that correctly. It goes through for my particular bobbins, it's kind of a tight fit, but I use them anyway. And then you just pinch this together and it goes right on top, just so that I previously had a separate box with the bobbins, but it was always like a hassle trying to find the matching color. Sometimes I didn't even have a bobbin filled with that color, so I just keep this in a thread drawer now, and I keep them together. You know what? I probably should give the name of that product. So is it okay if I check really quick in my cabinet?
Be my guest.
Okay.
I'll talk about video gaming, anime, and sorry, you're making the camera shake.
Oh, sorry.
Renee, by the way, I saw you made a really cool park sling bag out of I think it was dark gray denim or black denim possibly. It was pretty cool. I like the applique stuff you put on there.
I bought a whole jar, but it's by Gypsy Quilter, and it's called Buddy's Bobbin Clip. So they come in different colors. I think some quilt shops might sell them like by the eaches, but I just figured I probably had a lot of thread to fill bobbins too. Eugenia says, do you use a color wheel? I actually have one. I might have used it once. I probably should practice using it. There is a really good book that I have. I think it's called The Quilter's Field Guide to Color, and it comes with...
Hope said, tell Patty it's inside the spool.
Okay. The Gutermann thread, the number is inside the spool. Thank you very much for that tip. The Quilter's Field Guide to Color is a really fantastic book that can be used in place of a color wheel, and it has lots of exercises in the book as well as color swatches that you can cut out and practice putting together different color combinations. I reviewed it on Sewcial Sunday, maybe at the beginning of the year, but it's a really, really great book. Debbie says, can you suggest a bag for a fanny pack my daughter is requesting? I do have, the pattern's a few years old. We don't yet have a video for it, but it's called the Beatnik Waist Bag. I've had lots of friends that have used it for either trade shows or craft fairs to keep their money, obviously, on their person and safe in a waist bag. Karen says, do the wool pressing pads scorch if you use a cotton heat? I use my iron for them at the cotton setting. I do recall getting this question a little while back about scorched wool mats, and I forget what the answer was. Someone emailed me. I can't remember if they used vinegar. I don't want to say the wrong answer, but feel free to email me after the show, and I'll try to see if I can find that. My email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and that's Sarah with no H.
I had a couple of these questions pop up, so I figured I'd just pick one. My favorite section from my shirt, it's Naruto. It was the first one William and I really got into and watched probably over 100 episodes of it.
Your favorite anime?
Yeah, favorite anime. And I think it's our last question because I'm not seeing any more pop through.
Okay. Denise says, Danny, I've always been impressed at how familiar with the product line. It shows you are not only invested, but you care. You two are together. So sweetness. Kudos.
Thank you.
How do you feel about the products or the patterns or general comments?
How do I feel
about working together? Yeah, any of that stuff.
I mean,
do you enjoy working together?
I mean, 9 out of 90 days maybe I enjoy it, but I mean, it's work, right? You got to do it. No, I love working, especially from home. You know, I love with our job because it's new to me, and it's also new to Sarah. So it's like an adventure of learning what to do and how to do it, and figuring ways to make stuff work and achieve new stuff. And I'm currently working on doing different thumbnails. Sarah was doing previously. A
thumbnail is basically like a graphic that you see on YouTube for the video before you click on the video.
So I was doing some research since I love to know everything, and I found a way to clip out Sarah. You may see if you look at last week's Sewcial Sunday, look at the image you see when you first on YouTube. That's where I've changed it. Sarah's like, can we stop talking about this? But that's what I'm doing. I like learning new stuff. His short story is, I like to jack of all trades, master of none. That's me. I love to learn new things. Maybe not be the best at it, but dabble in this and try new stuff.
I was just laughing because I was previously doing the thumbnails. I just didn't have a lot of extra time on my hands, so Danny offered to take them over. Normally I just switch out the picture. I have a template in Adobe Illustrator, and normally I just switch out the picture, change the date, and the thumbnail's done. And Danny made one, and I was like, oh, that looks really nice. And I thought it looked better than the ones I had been doing. And he's like, yeah, it only took me an hour. And I was like, oh.
No, I didn't say that. She asked, how long did it take you to do it? I said, about an hour. Well, it was the first time doing this. The video, the guy does it in 10 minutes in the video. I don't know if he chops it, makes it smaller, but he relatively did it quick. And I said, if it's something I do consistently, I'll pick it up faster and then be more efficient at it. But I wanted to see if it was worth changing it. Is it worth putting the time in for the difference or not? So that's what. If you guys look at it, you like it, let us know in the comments. I'll definitely be watching. Send an email, Danny at Sewsweetness. I have been answering emails more often too now. So if you get an email and it doesn't have Sarah or Bronwyn in it, it's me. I don't have a tag on mine yet.
I don't know what I was gonna say.
It should respond from Danny at Sewsweetness
Right.
in the response. But sometimes you'll email Sarah at Sewsweetness and you wouldn't expect me to reply.
Well, that's why we all sign our names. I don't know if you've been signing your name, but
That's why I just said I haven't signed my name.
okay. Well,
I figure if I have a problem the first week, I could hopefully slide by and say it wasn't me because my name wasn't on it. So I'm in the clear.
I'm not sure it'll work like that, but all right, let's get over to the giveaway for this week. Giving away 6 yards of Tula Pink fabrics, brand new fabrics I have not used yet. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is answer my question in the comments wherever you watch our show, either on Facebook or YouTube. Make sure you're logged into your account before you try to leave a comment. My question is, what would you do if you won the lottery? So just let me know your answer. I'll announce the winner on next Sunday's show. If I won the lottery, I'd for sure buy at least one horse, probably two, because Violet needs one. Violet needs one, and I
No
need
sharing?
one. I mean, I'd be willing to share, but
Split time, better for the horse.
yeah, I mean, it's the lottery. So, what about you?
I'd probably want a new Corvette or a Lamborghini. Something fast, exciting. I just hit 40 a couple months ago, and it's middle-age crisis. I want something, a Porsche. Nothing too crazy. Maybe something like $300,000, $500,000.
All right. Thank you everyone so much for joining us for Sewcial Sunday. We'll see you again next Sunday. I hope you have a great week and happy sewing.
Bye-bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.